So hello everyone. Welcome now to our discussion for week 5 with our new timetable kind of for the discussion going through Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to reading the rest of your summaries and responses. What I've read so far, doing a good job talking about vulnerable elders and chronically ill folks, and then the other group of very vulnerable people in our population, children and pregnant families. And really some very nice points about the various things that ACA sort of assured. The problems, of course, we know there are issues with the legislation, and then the difference between fee-for-service and value-based care, and some pros and cons. And I think Group 1, I think in particular, brought up some literature pointing to some pros of fee-for-service that maybe we hadn't fully considered. And then in some population groups, urgent care, various kinds of patients that maybe aren't covered as well under Medicaid, certain kinds of populations, fee-for-service might still really have a place, whereas value-based care certainly has a great role in things like OB, where then you lessen the incentive to do more costly procedures and have a more bundled care approach, coordinated care approach. So those are some really, really good points of discussion. We see that things are looming in the Senate, and that possibly there's still a revival of the repeal and replace for ACA, and the new bill that the Senate is proposing, which I understand needs to be approved by September 30th. And ANA put out a thing this morning, not sure how that impacts the House bill, because of course they're not the same, and how the September 30th, but I think the 30th deadline is for the Senate, and some kind of reconciliation special legislation which would only necessitate 50 votes, and after this it'll be more. So anyway, this new version does kind of back to the state grants, block grants to the states, gets rid of the individual mandate, gets rid of the essential health services, several things that certainly will impact the groups we particularly talked about, especially child and OB care. So if you're so inclined, certainly weigh in that discussion, contact your states, legislators, and that kind of thing. But anyway, that's kind of a new wrinkle. And most of you discussed the fact that depending on what happens in the future with ACA and what would replace it, then some of these issues could certainly change. So really good discussion so far. I'll be looking forward to the rest of the responses from you. And I'm really pleased, as I mentioned in the announcement, to see that the groups are really owning your exploration of these important topics. So just a word about that, of course, business-wise. So next week week 5 and 6, we'll start the kind of prolonged discussion board, which will in effect reduce the amount of discussion boards and give you a little bit more time for that discussion. And so we'll begin that this week with mental health, substance abuse issues, and veteran care as other very vulnerable population groups and specialty populations. I think I'll just arbitrarily assign you to one or the other. There are, unfortunately, some real overlaps in these populations, both of them. So, if you want to get into both, that's certainly fine. And but you'll have 2 weeks for that discussion. So I'll grade it as a 2-week discussion, not a 1 week. And you'll have a little bit more time to participate. So we'll start that this week. I also realized after talking with some of you and digress, really enjoyed the opportunity to talk with all of you by phone, and I even got the chance to talk to Sarah in person at the NLN Summit. So I think everybody is progressing well, good ideas for your policy analysis paper. According to almost everyone, the wiki and group analysis is also going well, and you've gotten good starts on that and picked topics and that kind of thing. The only question that kind of came up, well, a few questions about how to do the wiki, and as I've mentioned, I'm not an expert here, and I'm certainly not going to be grading it for some sort of wonderful creativity or, pleasing in terms of, a real slick presentation or anything like that. It's information and just a different way of doing an assignment instead of just another paper. So, appreciate that there's a little bit more creativity involved. So don't be overly concerned about that. Certainly, if you can't post things that you want to post, let me know, and I'm sure the Canvas people can help walk us through a problem solve for that. But I did realize that on the independent activities, I had not posted a due date, so I apologize. And let's just arbitrarily make that last week of class. That would be 12/4. It would be the Sunday of the last week before the finals week. So let's just make it, certainly earlier is great, and I'll grade them as I get them, but that would give you the whole course time to finish it. So I think that's what we'll do about that. And I think that was all the course business. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. And as I said, really wonderful to talk to all of you. Please don't hesitate we can schedule another call if, as you work on your policy papers, you'd like that. Certainly, if any member of the group is having an issue for the group assignment, let me know about that. We'll see how the discussion goes, and hopefully that'll give you a little bit more time for exploration and not quite so much urgency about trying to get a post up and then respond within a week time frame. So let's see how that works. And almost everybody has told me they like the videos, so I will continue to do those. And I'll see you online. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. See you online, and look forward to our discussion. And post another video next week, even though we'll be kind of interim in that discussion. So hope everyone is doing well, and take good care.